get an insight and you know something, you know, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, you know. But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
I'm not crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through from me. It's just gonna solidify everything from those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill Thor anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores is gonna be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Adelaide immediately into back. Fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3. So back and forth.
Week 3 NA/SNO is upon us, and after what happened this morning in EU, the only question is, can this matchup live up to the hype that we've seen from SNO? Welcome everybody to this presentation of SNO. I am your host on the desk this week, Tryhard Ray, and I have some fabulous lads with me this week. I want to start with the man we finally pulled out of his cave and got onto the broadcast, the boss man himself, Headrammer. How you doing?
Yeah, look, Ray, I'm doing good. Bro, I need you to full screen me for a second. I have some beef with some people here, actually. And that is, you know what? It's good you got me on this broadcast. It's a perfect time to sue you guys for unauthorized use of my image. I've been noticing recently that I have been abused and profiteering. You talking about the match you guys had earlier? Yeah, a 3-2 banger. Think of how many millions of dollars you guys made in advertising revenue due to my image here. And you consider yourselves served. I expect a response and a jury trial soon.
Okay, let me ask you this. You said the millions of dollars are made on ad revenue. Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you in charge of all that?
That's not important. The facts don't matter here, just my feelings.
How do legal papers being served across the pond work? That's my question.
Oh, it's interesting you're across the pond. I guess we'll get that segue later. Well, it doesn't matter. You are now aware of the situation. I forget what it's called over in the UK. Is it called? It's not directly called a lawyer though, is it?
Barrister.
Yeah, that's freaking what it was. Yeah. And since you're aware of the situation, I think that counts as being notified.
Hey,
can I get like a lower third that says lawyered down here, please? Thank you.
Question. Hey, hi.
Yeah.
Joker's Ransom here. I wasn't on the desk this morning, so am I getting sued still?
Would you consider yourself part of the group of Saturday Night Overwatch?
No.
All right, cut him. Cut him out.
Yeah,
so
that is the man Joker over here. How you doing today, Joker?
I'm awake. That's all the best you can ask from me. I'm here, and getting over a sickness. Yeah, I'm comfy today.
Hey, I'm just glad you're starting to feel better. And back with me from the EU desk, we got the man Spectrion. What's going on, man?
I'm chilling. It's always good to get a double feature going on SNO. And I've been cooking for this one for our little mini game. So keep your eyes peeled for that one.
Yeah, we will find much more about that mini game a little bit later. But we are now in week number 2. So I just wanted to get you guys' gentlemen's thoughts. I mean, Headrammer's kind of been watching from behind the scenes, so I kind of want to start with you. What have your thoughts been so far with SNO and CGL in general leading up to this week 3 matchup?
Well, I think we've been upping our game a little bit here. We've had a little competitive games going on. We've actually had some games that are not 3-0 since Saturday Overwatch. You know, we've upped our game there in that sense. I mean, honestly, that itself, just screw the games and everything. Screw our game shows. That's already an improvement right there. Boom, call it quits. We've done. We peaked.
We peaked. I agree. I think we peaked in the EU game, and then we're gonna go back to similar schedule of 3-0s coming forward.
Glad we have the optimism here.
With that, let's go ahead and talk about what's coming up in 2 weeks. I'll start with you, Spectrum. We got the mid-season playoffs 2 weeks away, and with so much anticipation, and we're at a point where it's starting to peak a little bit on people making separations. We saw distinct groups in the EU for, you know, the 2-0s, the 1-1s, the 0-2s. It was just distinct. How are we feeling about the mid-season coming up soon?
I mean, you know, we've got late enough into the season that the cream of the crop is beginning to rise to the top, and that's all just going to be confirmed in the mid-season tournament, right? It's the best way that we have to show what team is currently, you know, vying for the overall championship. And of course, it's going to be a weekend or so of absolutely electric action. Personally, I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, I got a preference for what side I'd rather do and what side I think is going to do especially well in terms of the competitiveness. But I want to say the entire shebang should just be a great time.
EU over NA. No, I'm just kidding. NA over EU for sure. Just kidding.
Mickey Mouse region.
Headrammer, what about you? What are your thoughts? This is CGL Overwatch is your baby. We're heading into a big tournament coming up.
Yeah, we are heading into a big tournament, and I think what makes the mid-season tournament so interesting is that unlike most of our, our bracket-based stuff we do during the season, this is single elim. So your seeding really matters going into the mid-season tournament for how good it's looking. Otherwise, if you're bottom seed, you're probably it's gonna be tough. You're gonna face in that higher seed immediately and not even have a second chance to place higher. And those points can be quite the difference, especially in tiers that have a larger number of teams, because only the top, X number of teams from each tier make it into the grand finals playoffs, and it gives you a little bit of similar room. I mean, a season is definitely a bit more of a marathon and not a sprint. You need to be able to good throughout the entire season, and if you slip a little bit, those points might come in handy to make sure you still make playoffs.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it's map points, and then the winner gets a match point, correct, in their favor?
Yep. Correct. If you qualify, you get 1 map point. If you get second, you get 3. And if you win it, you get 1 overall match win.
Sweet Joker. You got any thoughts on the midseason? Any teams you're really looking your eye out and, maybe you're rooting for or expecting to get a big dub?
Yeah, any team that has Ryan Guy on it. Woo! Yeah! That's my... I'm excited for it. Obviously, it is a precursor to the regular season finals at the end of the tournament, which is always fun to see who comes out on top early on. And then, other than that, it shows really who's the team to beat.
Couldn't agree with you more. With that, we'll go ahead and bring up what we've seen today on SNO, as well as our matchup we're going to be having today. As we mentioned, a giga banger across the pond. Semper TEC taking the 3-2 victory over Varia. It was an incredible matchup. It was back and forth, and it all came down to a showdown on Watch Point Gibraltar. It was absolutely fantastic. And then today, for the NA portion, we will have Cogent Endangered going up against the Emerald Eagles. And that's the one thing that's interesting for a lot of us who were on the desk last week. Joker was one of them. The Emerald Eagles are actually another team from the University of North Texas. You want to talk about that a little bit, Joker?
Sure, I guess. I mean, the University of North Texas, they have the probably the more the funds or more what is the word that I'm looking for? The more structured environment because they are a collegiate program. Be able to get more scrims than other teams usually can, and hopefully that'll help them going forward and maybe take some maps off of Cogent here.
As we always talk about, Fletch, one of our crew members, also goes to that school, so shout outs to him. He'll probably be rooting for them in the chat, possibly. Headrammer, what are you looking forward to in this matchup?
Look, I'm trying to see if we can strike gold twice and get another 3-2 series. That's what I'm hoping for. It is going to be a little difficult, you know. We are in the diamond tier here, and diamond tier can be a little bit wild sometimes, you know. All predictions out the window. A fight you think is going to be easily won, thrown into a pit and never seen again. Ultimates you think might get a kill, they just press Q, and it didn't happen. So I'm hoping for a little bit of insanity and some drop spaghetti, but a wonderful fun time.
Spectrion, our analyst extraordinaire. We're in the Diamond Division. What kind of chaos do you think we should expect from an analytical standpoint?
I mean, I took a gander at, I believe, Cogent Endangered, what they were going to play. I saw Juno. I think Juno's being played everywhere. She's just so busted right now. But outside of that, it comes to the Wild West. I saw Reaper and a Diva Tracer comps where they played as a Death Ball. And if we're seeing that, then honestly, pretty much anything is on the cards. I've got a gut feeling we're going to see some Reinhardt. Just don't think it's a hero that we can get away from, really, in the Diamond Division. But outside of that, we've heard all about this craziness, so making any sort of concrete prediction, like this is going to happen, I mean, it'd be trying to pick a needle out of a haystack, really.
Oh, I know what's going to happen, don't worry.
Well, we'll have to see if that comes true later with our Preds and all of that. So let's go ahead and bring up the standings that we have for NA to give you guys a sneak peek of what we could be looking at as we see Cogent Endangered sitting at third place in their division currently. Emerald Eagles behind them. They had a bye week in week number 1 and they lost their first matchup in week 2, so sitting at 0-1, but the teams are still locked and loaded, trying to punch their tickets to the midseason playoffs. I'm assuming it's top 4, Headrammer?
We have not announced exactly what it's going to be. It actually will be announced at the end of the week.
Something to look forward to. CGL fans and players alike, wait for that ping coming on in for how many teams in each division is going to make it. So, but again, this is going to be extremely important for both teams, especially the Emerald Eagles. I feel like they need to get a dub here and next week in order to be one of those teams who make it. But as we continue to drill down into this matchup a little bit more, we have a little bit of a treat for you guys. We now have the Lowlights trailer that we have from Mr. Leg Day, who is absolutely fantastic. Everyone knows and loves him. And, you know, he likes to get at you. He likes to rib you a little bit, but it's in like the most nice and funny way possible, so it's hard to even be mad at him. So we're going to go ahead and let that play out for you guys.
Some might argue that makes it the perfect name. No! Oh, the nade was going to be so big, but unfortunately you have been cucked by a lamppost, so GG.
CGL Lowlights are back.
What is this? Well, all they've created is a little pedestal that says, new victim just arrived. Hey, wait, that's... Why did Velucio try and face tank this? And then that shield bash into it. I'm here to help. They're just so small. They're just too small, you know?
Every week on the CGL channel, be sure to check out Lowlights.
What a great trailer and a great series. I know I'm watching them every single week. They are hilarious, so make sure you guys go and check that out as well. But with that, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to hand the reins off to a good buddy of mine, Spectrion, as he's going to finally introduce us to that little mini game he gave a little tease to earlier. So, Spectrum, go ahead and take it away.
Well, of course, I am, the only British person on the desk, and I like to use some British lingo. So I thought, let's make some hullabaloo here and see what British lingo the rest of the desk knows. That's right, this is across the pond. I'm going to make all of them try and guess what a word means, and if they get it right, then they get a pat on the back. It's going to be a collaborative effort. I'm going to say the word once, put it in a sentence. They can ask for the spelling if they want, and we'll see exactly what happens. So, is everybody ready? Ready to get this underway?
Yeah, it's going to be nice open discussions here.
As an expert in the English language, I actually know all the answers already.
I'm going to start with an easy one and then get it harder and harder, okay? So the first one is going to be yank.
Oh, okay. So it's like an American, essentially, at that point.
American? We all agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This one is correct. So that's the first one. That's the freebie. That's to get us into the game. Let's see. What do I have next on my list? So if I asked for a cuppa, what would that mean? So I might say, "Oh, can I have a cuppa, please?"
Can I get a spelling on that?
Cuppa.
I think I'm googling it right now.
Beg pardon, right?
What do you think it is, Headrummer?
No, I was just making a joke saying I'm googling it right now based on that spelling.
If you Google, I'll just be sad. I'll just be sad. I can't lie.
You're asking for a cup of tea.
I mean, I think that's a good guess. Yeah, sure. I'm willing to go with that.
Yep, that one is also correct. So look that in there. That's the only thing it's ever called. When I was testing this, I found out that some people would think that refers to coffee. We don't really drink coffee here. If you say ask for coffee,
I was not gonna get coffee. No.
Coffee, bro.
Yeah. Okay. There's a bit of a ramp up in difficulty now. So this one, the phrase is full of beans. So I might say, "Oh, I'm chock full of beans today."
You're freaking gassy.
Chock full of beans.
Chock full of beans today, huh?
Chock full of beans, bro.
No, you wouldn't say bruv. It'd be more of a Cockney word. So it'd be like mate or lad or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. My guess. I don't know if you guys agree with this, but you're just feeling good, like you're feeling it today, like you're in your zone, kind of thing. I don't know though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care.
Can you say it one more time to me, like in the sentence?
Oh, I'm chock full of beans today.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say feeling good.
Is that our final answer?
I don't know. You guys like?
I don't know, Headrummer. Do you have something better?
Anything from Rama?
I mean, I don't think it is, but the leading towards the gassy one just makes me laugh. But I also know a lot of times that like the beans we think of all the times in America are not always necessarily the beans that like you in the UK, because like the whole jokes around like beans on toast kind of thing like that. Like but my first thought obviously when I think of beans is like baked beans, but I know it's not the same thing.
No, we do have baked beans on toast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
But no, so chock full of beans means you're full of energy. It means so yeah, I'm happy to give a point for you're feeling good, you're feeling ready for the day. So I will say that's another one for the Westerners.
All right.
What do we got on our list here?
We're on 3 so far, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
How
Okay.
many other total?
Many. So we'll go until I start laughing. Okay, we're going up next. So if I said porky. So I might say, "Oh, you've told a porky there."
Porky the
Wait, no, hold on. Say the sentence again.
The sentence would be, "Oh, he's just full of porkies."
He's full of porkies?
He's full of crap.
Yeah, that would be my guess too, I guess.
Full of
Rama?
lies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
Yeah, like full of crap,
Yep.
basically.
Yeah, porky means lie. It's from the rhyming slang porky pie, which rhymes with lie. We might have some more rhyming slams. Oh lord. Okay, I've had enough of being nice. Okay, so up next is the phrase nick. So I might say, "Oh, he was supposed to come today, but he had a run-in with the Roses. Now he's in the nick."
A run-in with the what?
The Roses.
Okay.
So he's in jail.
No, I don't think it'd be jail, because you wouldn't be like, "Oh, he didn't make it today. He's in jail." That seems like a little excessive.
I mean, it sounds like he's
He
like
ran
essentially,
into
like in
the
the
police and he's in holding.
Either that or he's like in the doghouse type thing. Like he's in trouble with like his freaking girlfriend or like his mom or something.
Well, that would be the missus.
Or what if it's like he got hurt or something? He went to the hospital or something.
Can you use it a sentence again for me?
Oh, he had a run-in with the Rosas. Now he's in the nick.
Man's dead in a ditch.
I don't know. I'll defer to you guys on this one.
I think jail or like holding or something like that.
My thoughts is like, you know, he's in the doghouse. He's in trouble for something. Not necessarily that he's in jail, but that's what I'll go for.
Sure. My guess would be hospital, but I'll defer to them.
All right. Are we right?
We'll go with Jokers. We'll let Joker have this one.
Jokers was hospital?
No, Jokers was jail.
Prison.
It was jail.
Ah, yeah, then you got it correct. That's what Nick is. It's jail
Nice,
or police
Joker,
station.
nice.
All right, good work.
Yeah. And Rosas is also police because of that.
I knew it!
Yeah.
How much time we got? We got time for one more?
Sure.
Yes, one more.
Okay. Then this is from the Scots, so that's a wee clue there already. So if I say, oh he's a wee Gallus lad, that would be...
Oh, I feel like I've heard this before.
A wee Gallus lad? Is that what you said?
Come on. How am I supposed to get the pint from you from Stockholm now? What the heck, bro? I don't know.
We Gallus lad.
You said this is Irish or what did you say? Scottish.
Pinging Geo real quick.
I actually checked this one with him before we started.
I don't know. My guess would be like
It's online.
maybe you can't hold down your liquor. I don't know. He's a wee Gallus.
I don't know. I have like an idea of I have an idea in mind what I partially think, but I cannot put it into words.
What do you think, Joker?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Let's go with Ray. I don't care.
Sure.
Lost and can't hold his liquor.
Yeah.
No, Gallus is Scots for cheeky or like irritable or irritating. Sorry.
Okay. That's all right.
I just think Spectreon didn't want to buy me a pint and stuff.
I've got more, but I think we'll call it here for now. Honestly, a lot better than I expected from you guys. My beta testers didn't get one correct, so I'm gonna give you a little round of applause here. Ray, Joker, Headrammer, you've done very, very well.
We interact with the international community on a day.
Yes, we're international men of mystery.
Unfortunately, I deal with peers regularly.
Very fair, very fair. All right, so back to our matchup between Endangered Cogent and the Emerald Eagles. We do got some pre-recorded interviews we did with these teams, so we're going to start and show you guys the interview we did with Emerald Eagles. So let's take a look at that. Hey, what's going on, CGL fans? Back at it once again for another pre-match interview. This week, we're diving into the Diamond Division. I'm here with the Emerald Eagles main support player, S-Bro. How are you guys doing this week?
I'm doing great today. It's a pleasure to talk to you, Ray.
Pleasure to talk to you as well. I mean, going into this match up, going against Cogent Endangered, have you guys had a chance, to go up against them before? Have you played them before? How's that looking?
This is our first time going up against them, and honestly, it's like, how do I describe it? I feel like I should have done my research beforehand.
No
I know they've got some pretty strong players on their team, and I'm looking forward to see what they provide on the field.
Yeah, that is going to be the main goal. I mean, you mentioned to me before the interview that you guys are from the University of North Texas, which is awesome. So you guys got that collegiate rigor built into you. How do you feel like that gives you guys a nice advantage coming into a league like this?
I feel like with my teammates, we just have a lot of synergy. We've been working well together, and we're starting to feel like a strong bond. Like, these aren't just players that we've just found in a lobby. These are like our people. And so I'm feeling like that comes with a strong advantage on our side, but it doesn't make up for everything.
And how do you think your team fares with this meta that we see, where it feels like, you know, tank is kind of up in the air, Devo, Winston, Orisa, all those different things, but, you know, DPS, you know, Ashe tends to be a good standout, but I've seen a lot of things be used. How do you guys feel about the meta?
Honestly, I feel like right now we're just, you know, placing some reliable picks, especially with DPS and tank, things that feel like not anything too experimental right now, but I feel like in the next coming weeks, when we see the meta shift a lot, because there's people who are looking for who's going to be good and what's next, that's when we're going to start shifting as well.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then before we end this interview, I mean, going into this matchup, who do you think is someone on your team we should really be paying attention to, someone to stand out that might make a big statement tonight?
Let's see. Well, a player that I feel like is always, like, keeps you on your toes is our teammate Austin Creed, because the interesting thing with him is that even through all the scrimmages we've been playing, he's been DPS, he's been support. We might even see him play a little bit of tank tonight, so he's definitely like a wild card on our team, and it'll be really interesting seeing what he can pull out this match.
Yeah, always interesting to see what those flex players are going to do. Thank you so much, Esbro, for the interview, and good luck with your matchup.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, and now we will send it back to the desk. And that was our interview with the Emerald Eagles. Headhammer, do you have any thoughts on that interview?
I thought you did an excellent job throughout the entire process. I think, honestly, as someone who's a little bit new to interviewing, I can definitely tell you're getting better in that process, and it was actually pretty good that we're finally able to get to talk to all these teams in advance of these things. I want to see a little more banter back and forth next time. I want to see a head-to-head between both teams next time.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. What about you, Joker? How was that for you?
Yeah, same stuff. It's always great to hear from the teams on what they're planning on going into for the week, and what their thoughts are going against opposition that might on paper be better than them.
Mr. Spectrion?
I mean, I always just get like cultural whiplash when I hear like US interviews, because obviously in Europe we have two styles. We have the I barely speak English, or just the list of expletives so rude you couldn't repeat it. So anything that's in the middle, it sounds wrong to me.
Maybe
that's not what I'm saying. Maybe implying it.
Maybe next time we should get each player interviewed by someone from the US and someone from the UK. and see how the differences will turn out.
Hey, I'll be honest. There was one interview I did that we ended up having to swap the games last week, and it was a UK player, and there was no expletives, but it was a very cocky interview. Like, they're just like, it's just going to be a tank diff. I'm better than them. Like, yeah,
we know what's up. What you're saying is we need them to actually fight.
Yeah, we need to start doing head-to-head interviews. I'm telling you, go crazy.
CGL Fight Night up next week.
CGL Fight Night. With Joker's Ransom as the Michael Buffer.
That's the boxing gloves.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the Cogent Endangered interview. And what's going on, CGL fans? Back at again with a pre-game interview for the desk. This week we are in the Diamond Division with Cogent Endangered's tank and support player Disro. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well, Ray. How are you?
Fantastic. So diving into this matchup, we know you guys are going against the Emerald Eagles. I'm sorry. Sapphire Eagles is their varsity team. How do you guys feel about the matchup? Have you guys played them before? How do you think it's going to go?
I think the game's going to be a pretty quick one. I've looked at their roster already and their SR for all their players, and it's not looking too difficult for my team. So I think it's going to be a pretty quick 3-0.
Love to hear the big talk, and we're very early still in this new patch. I'm sure you guys are still getting used to it and figuring out exactly how you guys want to do it, but how are preparations going so far, and how do you feel like your team's adapting to the new patch?
I think our team's doing pretty well with the new patch. There's still some things we need to work on, but overall I think we're getting pretty accommodated to the new changes.
That's awesome. And then what kind of style, I'm not asking for any specifics, but do you guys have like a style of gameplay you guys like to prefer and play at, like dive versus poke versus brawl?
Yeah, our team is mainly oriented towards dive. Like, our team loves to play dive comps. Like, used to play ball, but now we're playing mainly Diva, Winston, and that's just mainly what our team is comfortable playing with.
Awesome, fantastic. And last question before we close things out. Just as we get closer and closer to this match time, who is someone we should keep our eye on for the matchup who might have a pop-off performance?
I think the main player to keep an eye on is Zeus from my team. Zeus is a pretty underrated player overall, and if he's on Tracer, I think it's going to be a pretty easy game.
Can't wait to see that. Everyone loves some good Tracer play. Well, that's going to be it for the interview. Thank you so much, Disro, and good luck in your guys' matchup tonight.
All right, thank you.
All right, now we're going to head back to the desk. And that was the interview with Cogent Endangered. I'm going to start with Joker. What did you think about that one? I know you have a lot of thoughts on Cogent Endangered and how dominant they've kind of been.
Yeah, I mean, they're as cocky as they deserve to be after winning a lot of tournaments recently, and they just have to continue to back it up, or it's gonna be taken back, and they're gonna be made to eat their words.
Yeah, cockiness is always welcomed and great as long as you can back it up. Spectrum, what were you thinking watching that?
I mean, I respect the cockiness, absolutely, but I think there needs to be a certain amount of backing it up. And so far in the NA Diamond tier, they haven't had a crazy amount of success. They are 0-1, obviously, and the series they did lose, yeah, it was against one of the high flyers of their group, but it was still relatively one-sided, very few points taken. So I respect the trash talk, but without any real firepower behind it, it's just empty talk.
Hey, Demmer, what about you? What were your thoughts?
I think it's interesting. You guys kind of talked about a little bit what I was going to talk to as well, but yeah, I mean, the cockiness is play. I mean, you really got to back it up. It sounds like they don't really know a whole lot about the other team since this year was having to look up the members of the other team, so doesn't really sound like they know what they're going to be coming into. So it's possible, they come in the match and, get slapped across the face when stuff they're not really expecting. I know this hero mentioned about, Zeus being one of their standout players. It does concern me, considering Zeus has failed to fill out the team sheet multiple times now, despite being asked to. And his team will back me up on that one. So maybe they would click the heads, but not very good in the filling out team sheets aspect.
Yeah, always some fun banter. So with that, let's go ahead and start taking a closer look at these teams. We'll start with taking a look at the Emerald Eagles lineup for you guys and some of the players we're going to expect to take a look at. We're going to have Killer Mad and Happy on that DPS line with Esbro, who we did the interview with on that tank. Which, interesting, he told me he was a main support, so definitely some stuff has been changed around. And then Austin Creed and Sonari on that support line. So, Spectrum, given the fact we kind of had an expectation that Esbro had played support for them, but they're coming into this on tank, how do you think that changes things?
Obviously, it's going to be an issue. If that's a swap they've had to make last second for whatever reason. For what it's worth, I do think down in Diamond it's going to be a little bit easier to role swap and still be competitive. I think a lot of the skills you'll learn at this kind of elo are much more translatable than something you'll learn maybe much lower or much higher. That being said, though, you're still losing a lot of scrimming experience. You have to rejig all your strats basically on the fly, especially if you're replacing a player who's a big part of your comp structure. There's a lot to do. So I'd have to say it doesn't inspire confidence, but it's also not cooked that it might be in the way I would probably think it was if it was an open division team.
Couldn't agree with you more. With that, let's go ahead and pull up the rosters for their opponent, Cogent Endangered, and they are looking like they got Zeus, as we heard in the interview from Disro, and Fafita on that DPS line with Via, Baikel, and Obamna rounding out their team. The interesting part was, in that interview with Disro, told me he normally plays tank, but he'd be playing support for them, not in the lineup for at least the first map. And Joker, as you mentioned, this has been quite a dominant team in a lot of recent tournaments. Do a lot of these players look familiar to you?
Yeah, they definitely do. And it should be interesting. I mean, Vita was, I believe, on their DA team that won recently in Better Academy. Other than that, yeah, most of them are coming in from the either other good Diamond teams or coming back from Cogent as well. So I mean, it should be a pretty good roster they're forming here.
And Headrummer, let me just go to you. You kind of got to sit back and hear everyone's thoughts on these lineups. So, I mean, what are you looking at when you saw both of these lineups? Did anything pop up either one way or the other?
I would say I think Super Major really popped up. I think what we'll be most curious about will be how teams kind of try to swap and adjust against each other. Will we be seeing some of what's been considered to be the meta comp recently, playing, the Juno, the Brig, the Diva, playing those types of comps? Or are we going to see a little bit of something different? We are down the Diamond tier, which sometimes will straight follow meta, and sometimes teams choose to follow, what fits their players and their hero pools more, which can be honestly a really strong thing to do. It's not expected that every player who's not playing at like the top tier pro level is going to be like forced to play meta. And sometimes just playing what you are good at is best. And I really want to see if that is what these teams do, and if they run into resistance to that, what do they change to and adjust?
Great thoughts indeed from Mr. Boss Man. So with that, I think it's the most anticipated time on the desk. It is time to look at what our Preds are looking at and see if we airball as bad as me and Spec did on the cast this morning. For me, I guess, for me, I just have a little bit of a recency bias. They've just been doing so well recently. I know they're 1-1 right now, and one of their matches didn't go that well, but I'm just going to go with the experience and just the known name, and I'm going to go 3-0 for Cogent. What you looking at, Spec? You're up next, man.
It's exactly the same logic for me, man. I mean, I haven't seen a crazy amount of either team, but yeah, Cogent are the one who are having a little bit more success as of recent, so I would much expect them to continue that through. I don't have as much confidence as this one as I did in my vote in the morning, but evidently that one didn't work, so this one we'll have to wait and see as well.
Joker, my man, what you looking at for today?
I'm going 3-1 tonight, there, Raymond. Just because I think Cogent is going to be a little overzealous and throw a map because they're going to do it for content, and then it's going to end up 3-1.
All right, boss man, this is your first pred for SNO of the season. What do you got, man? Pressure's on you.
Whew, I just feel a little pressured for this one. Well, I'll say this was a little bit aspirational. It's more what I would like to see out of the series. I do think Cogent's going to win, but I'm hoping to see a full 5-map series. We got it for EU. I want to see it for NA, and I want to see if they can step up and bring it to them.
We're going to have to see if Distro can back up those words and deliver a 3-0 performance, or will the Emerald Eagles be able to prove them wrong as we now move over to our caster predictions with Dexatron and Twin Salty. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Dexatron thought for this matchup. And he is also on the same track of mind as me and Spectron, a 3-0 for the side of Cogent Endangered. Our last chance to see if someone can save total embarrassment from our prod. What do we have for Twin Salty? 3-0 for Endangered. So we're either going to be dead on or absolutely wrong on this desk, which either way makes great content. So can't wait. I mean, you know what? I kind of just want to get these casters up here and get what they think, and just figure out how dumb we're all going to feel if Emerald Eagles are going to fill this up. Let's bring them up here.
I know these people.
Yeah.
I've met that Dexatron guy before.
How dumb are we all going to look how dumb are we going to look, guys, if the Eagles pull this off?
I think we'll all look dumb. The only person that won't look as dumb is Headrammer.
Yeah. That's about where I'm at. I just have more faith in Cogent, just even the history this season. I'm holding out hope for Emerald, man. I really am, but
yeah.
The stars are not aligning, I don't believe, tonight for them.
Yeah,
some of you guys might not be aware of. Actually, Twin Salty and I are actually right next to each other right now.
What's going on? What are you doing?
Oh
Quick,
man,
run.
I mean, Dex, I'm hoping Endangered's able to pull it out, or else we're all going to be having Dex air balls on our screens, and it might be the biggest L the Dex has ever taken, given 4 of us predicted a 3-0. So.
Nope. There was 2 times last season where only one person predicted right. This would be actually.
Well,
you
yes,
would be right.
but in this case, we'd all be
the
wrong,
worst.
and
This
4
would
of
be
us
the
said
worst.
3-0.
This would be the worst, but it would also be
This
the
would be bad.
funniest. Let's be honest with that.
Oh yeah, it's like part of me wants to be so wrong tonight. Like I would love to see it go the other way, but the realism part of my brain is just telling me it's just not going to happen. But I would love to see it, honestly.
Don't think.
Real. Yeah.
That's with Headrummer. Headrummer seemed to go with heart over head. So we're going to have to see if that works out for him. But we're going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Dexatron and Twin Salty. Good luck, and we're going to have to see how this match turns out.
All right. Welcome to the casting booth here. Hopefully the desk was, fun this week. Twin Salty, I mean, we sat there and mostly predicted about the same predictions they had during the EU slang thing.
Yeah.
There.
It was. Yeah. The EU slang was a little. That was something. Spectron, I could tell, wanted a few more to go his way, but I'll give credit to Joker. He was up to his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think both me and you said at points Joker was absolutely carrying them, which was.
Oh yeah.
Gotta be honest. A sentence I thought I would never say out loud.
Yeah. We were sitting here like, man, he's cooking up something in this challenge right now. But hey, fair play. And it's kind of how the same way we're kind of feeling about Emerald Eagles right now. Like, hey, do they have a chance to do this tonight? Absolutely. Like, this is Diamond tier. Chaos can reign in this tier, especially. You don't need to follow meta. You can kind of just run your own stuff. But there is also a certain degree of, hey, there are obviously very certain heroes right now that are very good. And that Devo comp right now is exquisite. And Cogent, they love running dive. It is in their wheelhouse to run something similar to that if they choose. It is going to be a really tough test for the Eagles tonight to try and get it done.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But as we pull up the maps here for this entire week, if you've been watching CGL throughout this entire week, you know what they are already. But, I mean, you look at the first 3 maps here, and dive can work pretty well on most of them, especially Numbani there. But Lijiang Tower, Twin Salty, I mean, I always call Lijiang Tower a great warm-up map because you can play so many different compositions on it and find so much success.
Yeah, it is the map that kind of do-all fits-all, other than poke, right? Like, you're not going to run poke for the most part on this map, but you can run the rush, you can run the dive, you can run brawl. You can kind of run a variety of a whole lot of stuff here, unless you're playing Sigma. Sigma kind of gets just ran through on this map, no matter what. But it will really dive into hey, Emerald, they love running the rush. It's their bread and butter, that's what they love to do. Coach has been working on the rush, so I wonder if they just match the brawl, and say, hey, if it doesn't work, we can always shift away, or if they're just going to go to their comfort and just stick to that dive early and to force the Eagles to actually shift around a bit.
I mean, I think me and you talked about it a little bit, especially with Cogent losing their last game. First time, apparently, to Disarrow. In almost 3 years of CGL play, they've lost. I imagine they're going to come out with what they consider to be their best because they want to make sure the rest of this tier knows that was just a 1-game fluke.
Oh, yeah. They wanted to know, like, hey, don't worry about that, right? Like, that's an early season blunder. It's a week 2 game. You don't need to worry about that. We're still here to stay here in Group 2 of the Diamond tier. And I do think, it's either going to be them really coming out tonight, like, hey, they move into 3rd. They're in a great spot for playoffs. Or Emerald, like, hey, maybe they shift up here a little bit, right? They're really looking for. We actually have a sub before map 1 even begins. Fallen will be going in on tank. So already a little bit of a change here that maybe speaks on what Cogent are wanting to run.
I mean, yeah, you might be right there, but when you look at Cogent's roster, I mean, they have 12 players listed on their team. So it could be something throughout the night tonight where we see a lot of movement. On the other side, though, Emerald Eagles, I believe it was only 6 or 7. So there's not a lot of variety that could come out from that other side. But one big thing that just talking with Fez from the Emerald Eagles, I mean, they did say, like, hey, this is a team that is looking to improve week by week by week. This might be the week where they actually put something really good together. Like both me and you said, even though we predicted a sweep for Cogent, if Emerald wins a map and wins the series, it would not be something that necessarily surprises us.
No, it wouldn't be a complete surprise if they're able to do it, but obviously the odds are against them. So it is just the fact of, hey, can you actually get it done? If you think you have that potential, and I think all of us believe, you know, they could have it. The chance is definitely there. It is more a fact of, can you actually get it done when it matters, not just in scrims, because scrim bucks don't always transfer to the bank the way you want them to. It will be Control Center for the first round of Lijiang Tower for NA Saturday Night Overwatch Week 3. And we got a little bit of a change-up. Yes, Juno's on both sides, but it is the Junker Queen coming out for the Eagles.
And I like this from the Eagles. I mean, you say they like to play a little bit of rush here, and I think Junker Queen at the moment right now is in a really, really good space, especially up against something like the Ramatra on the other side, especially with Fallen getting very low on health, but it's going to be Obama going to be able to find Killer Man out here first, and now just the survivability and the resilience here of this Cogent team is going to be able to carry them throughout this first fight.
Yeah, the easy first cap here for Cogent. That is going to be the issue here for the Eagles. Can they actually get that quality damage in? Because Fallen, if they get low, they can just guard up as they are, get healed up, and go right back in, especially with the Baptiste. Instead of the Brig that we typically see, it's even more healing for this ramp.
Yeah, it's more healing, it's more burst healing, which is what you love to see. Fafita, that are going to be able to get rid of Austin Creed, and I mean, that's already the majority of the healing out here for the Eagles. Ice Wall could come out there from them, not going to be able to do a lot, but I love how Cognate here is kind of just controlling where they want the Emerald Eagles to go.
Yeah, they are in full control of how this map is played out so far. That is not a pick you can give up if you're the Emerald Eagles. This will be a crucial stagger if they're able to get a few more, because the wall will be back in a sec. But for now, honestly, they get out pretty lucky. And as maybe I just shouldn't talk. That's unlucky.
No, it's perfectly fine. I mean, we're bound to, you know, curse someone or something throughout this entire series. I mean, and it just leads to a whole team wipe there, which is something that I was surprised that Cogent had not been able to do till this point. But now I feel like we're starting to see where this team was kind of feeling like they should be, being the dominant team.
And it's the fact that at the very end of that set of staggers, Austin Creed dies again. So they have to wait even longer. They don't even get a quality fight. The wall goes down right away. It's going to force cooldowns, and Espero may not even get out anyway.
And now the Blizzard coming out here from Cogent. Fallen going to be able to find one, followed up right there by Zeus, who, I mean, their captain did talk to us about that DPS line here should be the thing that we really focus on, and so far they have been lighting up that kill feed.
Yeah, they've just been lining it up. There you go, another one. Sonari gone. This is just absolute carnage right now. The Eagles not able to do a damn thing so far. 90% and counting. Cogent, they're just going to hold by the choke. They have the Annihilation. They can seal this one away.
And Killer tried to, you know, mind jump their way to the point right here. Cognate, if they want to, they can use a lot of damage coming out from their side. Only going to end up using one right there, but it wasn't really going to matter. A dominant start here for Cogent.
That is exactly the start they wanted. Hey, you know, we were saying earlier, they were talking the talk. You got to show it, and so far, they're doing that and more, right? That was incredible. 0 elims, or if you want to say it the other way, 0 deaths for Cogent. Look at that. No deaths across the board. Highest damage for the opposing side is not even 2,000, but that's because those fights were also very quick. They really couldn't even get anywhere for the Emerald Eagles. As now, as we head over to Night Market, you gotta find something to work on here. Maybe Happy going over to the Pharah will be the case. It will be up. Oh, actually, it will be a Pharah duel. Late swap here for Fafiti, so it actually be more of a duel in the air and up to the Baptiste on both sides. Keep those Pharahs in check.
And I like that here, but
I like it, yeah.
Yeah, Espero going over to the Sigma is going to be really interesting, but Fafiti finding Killer Man out here early on, which was a thing that happened a lot last point here. Fafiti already with 2. Espero has to do a lot here on point, but it's going to be a very losing battle here. Baikal gets rid of Happy, and Fafiti going to clean up the rest of this fight.
Yeah, that's just how you do it right there. Like, they get the early pick. They don't hesitate. They continue to push the advantage. They don't want Emerald Eagles to have that time, and especially, we talked about it earlier, like, hey, maybe the Sigma is one of the only tanks that really can't work on this map, and, you know, granted, this is Diamond Tier, comfort really reigns supreme, but so far the Sigma is going to have a real hard time pushing through any of these choke points.
Yeah, and that's something that both, captains get to talk to us about, the fact that they both want their teams kind of play around their comfort characters here, but at the moment, I mean, it might be your comfort. You need to maybe get out of your comfort zone here a little bit, as Fallen now starting to prove the MTD here at the moment. Starting to go a little bit further into their spawn, but gonna smartly back out here.
Yeah, just try and get us, especially because I think that Zeus over there just kind of lingering around on the flank, and they're actually going to go back for more from maybe a late pulse, but instead, everybody lives for now. As I was saying, that Killer Man almost died, but everybody's at least intact, and the pulse now in hand.
And Zeus able to get out there with their life. Kafidi finds Killer Man, who swaps over to the Reaper. Pulse Bomb comes out, not going to be able to find anyone here, but it doesn't really matter. The cleanup already on its way now. Esbro, the last one alive, but they are being swarmed by this Cogent team.
Yeah, just swarmed all over the place. They basically just force Emerald all into that little corner. That is the opposite of where this team wants to be, as swaps now come in. It'll be Venture Reaper to help deal with Fallen more up front, but the danger of Fafitai in the air is going to be even more prevalent now.
And I mean, you have to imagine Emerald Eagles knows that this ultimate is ready here, and Happy has to immediately burrow themselves here, just try to get out, gonna use that jump, but no, they're gonna be sucked back down to earth right there. No escape for them as Fallen finds them out. Fallen already with 2 punches this fight. Viscal gonna be able to find a third one right there, but that'll pretty much do it here. The orbital beam not necessarily gonna matter, but it's gonna be the victory beam out here for them. Sonari though gets a touch here. Are they gonna be able to get the cap? It doesn't look like it. Barrage comes out to seal the deal, and 2 dominant 100-0 maps here for Cogent Endangered.
Yeah, sometimes we say, yeah, that map was rough. We say stuff like that. And then, there's games like this to where I don't think it could have went any worse for Emerald Eagles, honestly. I don't know if they got a single elimination that entire map.
They didn't. I don't think they did.
Yeah, like, it's probably worst case scenario. The positive thing here for them is that it can't really get worse than that, right? Like, you're going to be able to build off of something, but yeah, zeros across the board. It's a donut fest up there for Emerald Eagles. Well, what a performance there for Cogent. We said earlier, hey, they want to show that they should be in that top rank, and, so far, that is exactly what they're positioning themselves to be.
Yeah, and I mean, we came into this one talking about that Cogent wants this to be a little bit of a revenge game after they dropped their first game in a long time. And unfortunately, it's Emerald Eagles that they're going up against here. And Emerald Eagles, I mean, like you said, it can't get any worse, but there's still the possibility that it somehow could. I mean, that was the most dominant map I have seen ever, really. I mean, 0 deaths across the board there for Cogent. It is something I've never seen. Hell, I've seen some individual heroes or players with 0 deaths. I've never seen a whole team with it.
Yeah, the fact that it was the entire team that it was that, it's incredible for Cogent to have it be that clean of a map, regardless of how it comes. Having that great of a map, that clean of a map, is truly something special. And you got to look at it that way, honestly, going into it. It was more Cogent doing everything right in the series so far, compared to Emerald Eagles really doing anything wrong. The worst part is here for Emerald Eagles, it's Numbani next, which just goes into the dive that we don't really think that they're comfortable with. At least when you talked to them earlier today, and even the interview earlier, they like running the brawl. The brawl did not work. They lost that brawl mirror, so they gotta find something else to do. And so far, I don't know. This is the map that it's probably the hardest to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, there was one thing I did actually want to talk about with the Emerald Eagles on that first map, specifically that first point. I mean, those first couple engages where they lost someone early, they did a great job of just backing out so it wouldn't be a rough stagger for them. And it took about 3 fights for this Cogent team to finally break through and get a dominant team fight win. And after that, you really never saw that same type of communication or that same type of team play out of Emerald Eagles. Seems like Cogent found what they were looking for there. And now coming out the gates here, I mean, we see a Winston on the side of Emerald Eagles. The Doomfist on the other side, I mean, it does fit dive, but do you expect it?
The Doomfist, not necessarily. I think, honestly, at this point, if you're really feeling yourself, you could go. But instead, you know, man, I don't know on this. Cogent, you can tell, are kind of just workshopping as they speak. Like, hey, we're feeling very good right now about how we are. We don't need to really force anything we're not comfortable with. Or honestly, they could see this as, hey, we can run something a little wacky. We can run something a little different now that we know we are playing as well as we are. So change it up a little bit, and that they actually won't in the end. They'll go back over to a dive. It'll put a lot of pressure on Sonari and Austin Creed to keep the pressure off the backline. But this May pick could sneakily be good, and there you go already. First blood.
Hey, it's already a much better start for this Emerald Eagles team. Getting a kill early on and on the Baikal Zeus, though, immediately gonna be able to respond back here for Fidi on the backline rotation. If no one recognizes this far, it could be scary. Happy will find one there, even across the board, but what a nice boop there by Fafidi to get rid of Austin Creed. And at this point, you are just looking to clean up as no supports on the other side.
Yeah, at this point, you just clean up, you try and see, hey, we can get this done right away. They're actually going to go in for the stairs. Why not? Go in. Baikal, they want revenge. They were the first blood at the beginning of this fight. They want revenge here on Killer Man. That's exactly what I think the FAR is going to let him do. Yep, Melee kill for the revenge. Cap has had 5.5 minutes into straights. And yeah, this is just a continuation of the dominance of Li Jiang.
And a melee kill, like you said, it was personal there to Baikal.
Oh, yeah.
And now, though, Ezra gonna be able to force them back here a little bit. Fidi gonna be able to use that concussion rocket just to back themselves up here. But Zeus has this angle, and if you give them the time and the space, they're gonna make you pay. Austin Creed learning that here now, focusing in on Ezbro. Fidi gets rid of Sonari, and I mean, it's just gonna be rough here now. I mean, Emerald Eagle's gonna get a little bit of a reprieve here because as most of them die, they're gonna get those backward spawns all the way there. But Baikal with another kill right there, ice block from Killer Man, but not necessarily meaning you're safe. Actually, you might be putting yourself into a worse spot.
Yeah, they may not even be the last person to die. Creed will die very late, almost at the end of third phase. This card slowly moving. I don't know who is on the card at the moment. I believe it's Baikal who's just kind of chilling back there, but they're at least able to get one, but it's the Widow. At this point, you're just trying to make sure you can live and somewhat settle. They're committing. This is really personal, Dex.
Yeah, I mean, they died once, and now they are making it their life's goal at this point just to find every pick. It's gonna be Obama on the Kiri here that's pushing the cart. And I mean, hey, second point now in their control. And it just doesn't really seem to matter as Cogent keeps on finding kill after kill here, even with just the Lucio's heals. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is getting out of hand, Dex. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is getting very out of hand for Emerald Eagles. If they cannot find a way to combat it. Scenario will actually go over now to the Brig. It was Creed earlier in the map, but you look at the ults here. Primal Rage to knock him away and spawn.
Oh my
the barrage
goodness.
over top.
Oh, but they do find Fafidi there, but it won't really matter. The Blizzard coming out from Fallen or from Killer Main, but the Primal Rage can keep falling alive through it there, and I mean, they're just gonna be able to swing the hands in the small room and find two.
Oh man, this is like, what can you do here for Emerald Eagles? You have Annihilation, yes, to get out, but there's so much damage as the little boogie going on. They're actually gonna get pushed by the cart at the very end. Yeah, that was rough. 441 for Cogent.
Yeah. I mean, it was a dominant round for them again, and that's all we can really say. Emerald Eagles, I mean, I guess the good thing is you are starting to get some picks. You gotta translate that though into an offensive round. You gotta show us that you can, beat Cogent here for a fight or two, just to at least get the first point. But I mean, this Cogent team, it would not surprise me if they come out and try to spawn hold them.
No, I wouldn't be surprised either. Like, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary here. 4 deaths in total for Cogent Endangered, 2 for Zeus, and then Faifatai and Baikal each getting 1 as well. But Obama really didn't need to do a whole lot. 0-0-0 across the stat line, 60 damage, 980 heals. They didn't really need to do anything. Didn't pop ults. Didn't feel like they really needed to pop Kitsune Rush when they were on the Kiriko. And honestly, they were just living life on the cart. It was just a free vacation for them practically on this map. And it doesn't seem like they're going to spawn hold, at least initially here, but considering how this series has gone so far. I wouldn't be shocked if we eventually get to that point.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, Obama didn't need to do much. They were the taxi cab driver the entire time last round for the most part. And Fallen Solo, I mean, them and Obama are the only two members of that team that haven't yet to die yet. And honestly, I feel like if Emerald Eagles is able to find Fallen Solo, you might be able to actually get a fight here, because Fallen just seems to be able to do so much. But that's not the start you're necessarily looking for from Emerald Eagles here, as the Ash able to just find one immediately. Then Fallen finds Sonari here, but Fallen maybe flew a little bit too close to Sun. Aspro finds them there. That's their go point here. You have to find another pick right here, and you put yourself in such a great position to capture this first point.
Yeah, Aspro just wasn't able to back up quite in time. Their issue is now nobody to control the high ground, and Zeus is holding it down, so no tick for that fight, and that is why it is so hard.
And just the aim here from a fight from them, it's just insane to see this early on.
Yeah, the aim for Fafita is so far at Zeus. How much health were they at? Like 5 when they get that finishing blow on the Happy. And yes, they get the opening pick here for Emerald Eagles, which I think that might have been the second fight of this entire series. They get that first pick, but they just can't capitalize on it because, of course, the one person to fall shortly after it is Esbro, who is the only person who can realistically try and contest this high ground, and that time just a little too short on that jump.
Yeah, a little bit too short right there, and I mean, it's really not even making this Ash worry about it. They do use the coach gun there to escape the jump up there from them that time, but I mean, as they fall back down, just right back into the sidelines of the Ash. Tracer duel going on here on the far side of the point, but Fallen back in that backline, gonna be able to find Sonari here. Has to jump up, gets life gripped out of there to keep themselves alive. Zeus, though, winning the Tracer duel, and it just seems like it's gonna be another Cogent fight win here with Afiti finding 2. Potentially 3, no. Fallen will take the last one.
Yeah, Fallen gets the last one, but the only thing endangered so far in this series is just the lives of the Eagles 24/7. Cogent, they're chilling. I ain't gonna lie. They literally look at Zeus on a pedal, just doing their own little dance show up here. Well, until it breaks, at least. Well, honestly, Cogent, they feel pretty comfortable so far in this series, and it's easy to understand how, because of the way they've been playing. They have so many ults to work with. This time, the Eagles going around on the high ground to see if they can maybe do the log rotation across points, is my guess.
I mean, I like this play for them, especially throwing that ice wall up just to make sure Fallen cannot get up there on the first attempt, able to get up there on the second attempt, and Fallen has a get out of jail free card here of the Primal Rage, which they're going to pop. Pulse Bomb out as well. Will land onto Austin Creed, who got a package delivered to them right there. Too bad it was a pipe bomb. And now, I mean, the Blizzard coming out from Killer Man not really going to lead to anything as well.
I don't even mind the Blizzard there, right? A basic level, like, hey, you Blizzard there, it's not a horrible idea, because then you try and trap Fallen and Zeus in that room. It just doesn't work out. It actually is a great spot for Zeus to get that pulse down, and I think Zeus is using the emotes to look around the corner. That's incredible. Hey, well, it didn't matter.
They finally get, something coming back their way right there. Is Happy finally able to find them there, but now they have to deal with the other DPS player, which we did talk about being someone we really need to watch out for. Tree coming out there from Baikal on the high ground, and again, it just gives up everything to there to EQT just to keep themselves alive. Nano now out onto Fallen here, and this could be the final fight right now, but you're starting to see some ultimates come out here from Emerald Eagles. Primal Rage, same thing with the Kitsune Rush. Nice grasp to get Obama out of there to keep their perfect game alive here without dying, and eventually you see the fight get brought here to point, but it's just going to be a rough uphill battle here for Esbro as they fall.
Yeah, they're going to have a last-second push here, but honestly, it's just a little bit too late. Cogent, 2-0 in the series, and I won't lie, it's probably one of the harshest 2-0s I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it might be the harshest one I've seen ever here. But, I mean, the Emerald Eagles, they did look a lot better this map. That's the one thing we can say about it. They were able to find picks, which is something they struggled with last map. Throughout the entirety of it, they did find multiple this time around, but they weren't able to translate it into a team fight win here. This Cogent team, I mean, is scary for a reason, and they're showing us why.
Yeah, they're showing why they deserve to be you know, in every power ranking discussion here for the diamond tier of NA, it's just ridiculous what they're able to do. For Futai, 29 eliminations, 14 final blows. That is actually disgusting there from the hit scan. Obamna actually did end up getting 9 eliminations to their name. And most importantly, the perfect game is still intact for Obamna. We'll have to, you know, keep an eye on that for map 3. But, you know, we even got some more details here on, still not sure why it happened, but you look at this, 5,600 damage. They're hitting half their shots, and it's showing. In the dynamite damage, it's not showing on there, but that was also a massive factor into how Cogent went up 2-0.
And I can definitely say this, that critical hit accuracy is definitely wrong. I think we saw
1,000%.
Yeah, we saw a lot of kills come through via headshots by them here, and it doesn't seem to matter what character they're playing. It seems like they are just able to dominate no matter what. I believe they were playing the Pharah the first round, and it was just insane gameplay from them there. But I mean, we're gonna head to a break here. Emerald Eagles, I mean, they looked better on that map. They need to win a fight here, in my opinion, just to kind of give us a little bit of hope that maybe they can get something back in the series.
Yeah, we need something, right? Emerald Eagles, hey, first map couldn't get an elim. Second map, they at least got some. They had some fights that looked winnable, but we'll have to see if they can actually, you know, have to just go that one step further. And, you know, somehow maybe we get the 3-1 that was prophesized by parts of the desk. But yeah, the 3-0s, our Preds so far are looking pretty steady.
Yeah, Joker would be really happy about a 3-1 here. But like I said, we're going to throw it to a quick break, allow the teams a little bit of time here to think about what they need to do next map. So everyone stick around. You are not going to want to miss it.
Inside here, you know, you get an insight and you know something, you know, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, you know. But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
Carpe diem.
All right, welcome back, everyone, from that halftime break right here. Cogent Endangered on top of Emerald Eagles 2-0 so far. And I mean, Twin Salty, we've been talking about it here a little bit. This has been very much a one-sided series, but I mean, it's kind of what both me and you expect a little bit, considering this Cogent team lost their first game in, according to their own captain or coach, almost 3 years of CGL play. So this is definitely a game where they're looking to get a little bit revenge.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of extra fuel for Cogent Endangered going into this game. Like, hey, we want to show that, don't worry about that loss, right? We are still one of the best teams here in the Diamond Division. We want to be in that conversation. It just kind of sucks that, you know, for Emerald Eagles, it's also a mix of that. And, hey, they've been very open, right? Like, we talked about it pre-show. This is the team that's really just looking to improve. They're a relatively new team. I think they're really just trying to figure out what their identity actually is right now. They're kind of in that finding out phase. It's just, this is one hell of a speed bump. This is not your normal little speed bump in a parking lot. This is one that almost decks your entire car if you go over it, you know, more than 5 miles an hour. And that's just how, you know, sometimes you're going to have good games and you have games like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that analogy right there. Sometimes it's the speed bump and sometimes it's a pothole that swallows your entire car. But we do know what our third map is of the night. Could potentially be our final one as well here. Going to be heading over to Clash here for Hananoka. And, I mean, Clash is a very momentum-based game, but the third point always does have its difficulties, even if a team is rolling full steam ahead.
Yeah, it is one that, hey, the game is designed to, like, hey, if you're getting, it's already 2-0, you're pushing over to either A or E, depending on, you know, which side you're starting on. It's going to be easier for the defenders to at least get back in the fight and give themselves a chance. The downside is here for the Emerald Eagles is that Cogent's kind of already, they spawn camped kind of occasionally a few times. So they know how to track the respawns. They know how to kind of track that kind of movement from Emerald. So if in due fact, you know, it is Cogent 2-0 by the time we get to A/E, it could be a little tricky for Emerald to really get that momentum because also the batch respawns isn't a thing at that point, right? You're going to be respawning on your own. You're not going to be respawning as a group. That could really be an issue here for the Eagles if Cogent are clean and precise with their eliminations, as they have been the entire night.
Yeah, I mean, we've had nothing but absolutely good things to say about this support. I mean, this DPS line here for them. Looks like we're having a little bit of a sub and some role swaps coming in here for Cogent. Baikal, who was normally the support, going over to tank, and Fallen coming in as a support here. What do you think of these moves, especially going into what could be our final map?
Why not? At this point, maybe they have something cooked up. We saw Maga was the teased tank there for Baikal. Maybe that is like, hey, we're just going to run it, right? And if anything goes wrong, cool, we reset back to what we want to do in map 4 and we finish it off. I think Joker is maybe silently punching in the air right now that his pick'em has a chance. I don't think that chance is still very high. I still think, you know, us and Ray and Spectrion all have a pretty good feeling going into this, how it's going to go. It's actually the Reinhardt that's going to be teased. This is one of the map types that can happen, and I think we also had a role swap on Emerald without telling tournament admins. Esper over to main support, Killerman over onto tank, and Austin Creed over to DPS. So they're also changing it up to see if the results maybe are just a tad better this time around.
And hey, we get hog play here for Cogent.
Yeah.
That is definitely something that I did not expect to see tonight, but no. I'm always up for it.
This was not on my bingo card tonight. That is That is for sure. The fact that with the Juno and Kiriko actually could be pretty big, and yeah, already Hook dead.
Yeah, Austin Creed was seen for about a solid second there before they were sent back to the spawns here, and already another good start here for Cogent, as I like what they're doing here, just having Baikal go straight up to this high ground here while the rest of their team kind of plays low ground, really forces them to try to do something here, but if FPT to be able to find Killer Man there now, you're just trying to see Happy escape, and just gonna be this DPS line here again cleaning up.
Yeah, DPS line cleans it all up. The Junkrat play as well, you love to see it. And yeah, I think Happy, that was tactical reset. I'll say that's tactical reset. That, however, was not. Now no DPS available, no Lucio, and yeah, this was the momentum you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum right now is of a steamroller rolling downhill with no brakes. It is something you do not want to be in front of here.
This is not something, especially in this game mode, right? It is such a snowballing game mode to where you could really get A into C and B right away, move over to A with the ultimates, with the other team not really having that. But it will be a recontest here coming in from Emerald Eagles, and they do get a touch.
They do get the touch here, but now they have to be able to find at least one pick early on, but Baikal gonna make sure that does not happen. Same thing with, well, really the rest of their team. Emerald Eagles swiftly gonna be going back to the spawn right here, and Cogent gonna be able to move on to point A.
They will go over to A. Reminder for those still trying to familiarize themselves with the game mode, they now get a point for every tick on this. So that could be something that, hey, even if they just get one tick, could be big in the long scheme of things. They're going to try and tire.
Oh my goodness, they use the mines completely in the backline. Not going to be able to find anything, but the Deadeye does find one. Now everything out on the field for Cogent, and it's going to lead to a team fight victory here. Happy going to be the last one sent to spawn, and now Cogent gets to slowly start building up here.
The only good thing there for Emerald Eagles, all ultimates were used by Cogent, so they will have the ultimate advantage. They have the sound barrier to use to get them back in it, but Creed, they gotta live and use the ult, but they don't.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to use it there. They might have a chance to come back out and use it, especially with Killerman finding that pick right there, and they completely reset the point right there. Baikal, though, finding Sonari. The Tectonic Shock's coming out as well. I like this from Emerald Eagles. They might at least be able to send it back to point B here.
They might be able to. Cogent is not giving this up quite yet. They're all kind of stuck, though, in this back corner, trying to body block for the Kiriko, but it will be Emerald Eagles. They will hold down the line, only one tick given up, and these staggers could actually go in their favor as well.
Yeah, especially with them being so far in the backline, but Baikal just seems not really to matter. I mean, they're going to be able to hit the vape right there as so much, just so that the damage dealt to them will not matter. But hey, a huge anti right there will probably force them back to the spawn. Same thing with Obamna, and there goes Obamna's perfect game.
Obamna's perfect game. Oh, so close to actually coming through. And now Emerald Eagles, because of the momentum they built, they can at least get the initial point pressure back on B. Zeus is now... Are they going for a hammer kill? They're going for a hammer kill!
They get slept, they get antied, but it's going to be if to find Sonari right there, so they won't necessarily die so early on. Austin Creed, they're going to be able to finally take care of them. And look at this, Emerald Eagles almost actually getting point B back here, and they're going to be able to...
Ajax!
An Ajax and I guess a C9. I mean, Cogent was there. Everything is going downhill. Oh, dear God, for us here, but... Cogent dominates that fight right there. Point C going to be opening up here in a moment.
Yeah, so we have an Ajax that should have caused the C9 not to happen. And yet the C9 does happen. Emerald's able to get it to 3-2 with a possibility of tying this up. That Death Blossom, they've been holding on to it for a while. They still have it. And all of a sudden, this is getting real interesting.
Yeah, but they need to make their way towards the point right here. Baikal almost gets javelined off. They're not going to be able to heal themselves up here. But Cogent almost actually caps the midpoint right there. Emerald Eagles coming back in. Zeus does get the hammer kill they were so desperately looking for. Or Death Blossom coming out there. Not going to be able to find everyone as everyone from Cogent just disappears. But a huge boop there. Going to be able to, I thought, find someone, but it doesn't look like anyone's going to be actually able to find that there. But somehow, Emerald Eagles now looking like they're going to be able to tie this map up.
Yeah, Fafita just kind of boosted back up. Touch will be returning here, but again, do they actually get a quality touch so far? No. I won't call that one a C9 because they couldn't just get there, but I don't know. Yes, obviously Cogent are playing very loose right now. Let's be very honest. They're playing very loose. They had a role swap. But Emerald Eagles, they're at least taking advantage of that fact. And they have got this to a tie game entering into Objective D.
And Happy is coming alive right now. Fine and fallen. Zeus gets another one. And now you're starting to see the rest of Cogent finally wake up here a little bit. But again, Emerald Eagles, I like what they're doing here. They're allowing Cogent to kind of, play a little bit aggressively, but they're trying to play point instead.
Yeah, they're just trying to play the objective, which honestly I don't blame them here, but it will be Cogent who's going to be able to cap point D more than likely. As you can see, Pycal is playing extremely far forward to make sure the touch will not be had by Emerald. It will be 4-3 going into it, but oh, the barrage, that could open it up here for the final point.
And Zeus again looking for hammer kills right now, as that seems to be the only thing they're really looking for at this point. Target now was Killer Man. Looks like it's going over to Sonari, but they might themselves be getting out of this fight here. Orbital Ray coming out from Fallen, and now that hammer does a little bit more, but the Terror Surge not going to be able to do anything right there as they get shut down. The point, though, about to open up here. And, I mean, Cogent, all they need is this point, and they win.
Yeah, they don't need to push ahead again back towards the spawn of Emerald Eagles. That is why you see them playing just so far up. If you deny the touch, you win the map. Doesn't matter if you get the kills.
Austin Creed going to be able to find Zeus there, who is again going just for hammer kills at this point. Ezra going to be able to get a touch here. Now a whole hog out there on the Killer Man, who cannot fortify or javelin spin. Deadeye coming out, but going to be forced back by that whole hog, and no one from Emerald Eagles gets the touch in time. Cogent Endangered going to be able to come back here and get that revenge they are looking for with a 3-0 sweep.
3-0 sweep, exactly how they predicted it to be. And exactly what they wanted. Honestly, what they needed for playoff seeding. That was the Ajax, and that was the C9. That honestly sums this series up, and especially this map, quite well, I will say. But this was honestly them getting back into that conversation. They move up to 3rd place in Group 2 for the Diamond tier. And yes, they're still going to be behind Scad Black. They're still behind the Banished, who they lost to recently. But it at least gives them that opportunity to maybe make a run later on. Get the momentum back in their favor as they go in through the middle part of their schedule.
Yeah, and it makes next week's matchup for them very important to win, to probably lock themselves into that mid-season tournament, where I imagine they would love the chance to play the Banished again and try to get a little bit revenge against them.
Yeah, they would love that, especially with their next game being against Scad, who's currently tied for 1st. It's exactly what they want right now. Have that redemption game against a team that is up near your level, and from there on out, just try and run the table for that tournament as well. So honestly, very good showing here for Cogent. For Emerald Eagles, they did talk about it. Like, hey, this is definitely a learning experience for them. This is them trying to figure themselves out. And at least feel, hey, some of the ideas that they had on Hanaoka could be something they bring out for future series.
Yeah, even with the role swaps that they had there, it really did seem like that was probably the best look we had from them. And yeah, you could say it.
Oh, yeah.
And we mentioned it a little bit that Cogent definitely was playing a little bit more free there. They had subs and role swaps as well. But I liked what we saw there from Emerald Eagles. They definitely got better as this entire series went on. And I think they're maybe 1 or 2 weeks away from being able to put something together that should be able to compete for potentially a victory.
Yeah, I do think they are definitely a long-term team to where, like, hey, the beginning is going to be rough, right? Like, I've been on teams that it was very similar. You probably have as well, or at least been around teams that have gone through a similar trajectory to where, hey, the beginning is rough, right? You're going to get, pushed around a little bit. You're going to figure out where you kind of feel in this league. But then once you click, I cannot wait to see where this team goes. I honestly think they have pieces there that could really work out. It's just trying to put them all together.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that as well. But we're going to throw it to a quick break. And then once we come back, we're going to have an interview with Desero from Cogent Endangered. So everyone stick around for that. We'll be right back.
straight new wave.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are pleased to be joined by Desero from Cogent Endangered here. Hey, man, congratulations on the win here tonight. Definitely one that you were looking forward to, especially after receiving your first loss in a long time here in CGL play. I imagine that fired up the team a little bit more than expected tonight.
Yeah, I definitely did light a fire under us. My team was pretty pissed that we lost our first game in the history of CGL since 2021, so goal is to come back stronger.
Yeah, I would say you were able to do that and maybe more than just that tonight. Probably one of the most one-sided 3-0s we've seen in a long time. Did it just feel like everything was kind of working tonight? We saw in map 3 you guys got a little loose. The hammer kills were coming out. Did it just feel like you guys were going through the motions tonight?
Yeah, they were a little happy. They were playing to this out. They won the first 2 maps pretty convincingly, so they planned to run some funny comps on the last map.
And you know what? That's fair enough. You know, have a little bit of the content spree there, even, you know, a little bit of an Ajax and a C9 within like 5 seconds there on Hanaoka. You guys now play SCAD Black next week, who is currently 3-0, one of the only 2 teams above you right now here in Group 2. How are you guys looking at that series as a great way to maybe project yourselves up into that top spot?
I think that game will be a decider of who's going to do better in playoffs in the midseason. So I'm going to look forward to that game very much.
Yeah, I think, as will all of us here, that's going to be a really good game next week. But, I mean, you guys lost your first one, just won a dominant series. How are you guys going to start to prepare for that SCAD B Sports game there a little bit? I mean, like Twin said, a team that's above you right now, 3-0 on the season, I believe, haven't dropped a map yet. So that is a team that you kind of have to watch out for.
I'm going to probably watch all their VODs and stuff to get a better idea of how good their team is. And then I'll make some comps up for my team to react to their strong suits.
All right. Well, before we let you go, man, we will give you the floor here to shout out anyone or anything you want.
I want to shout out to Runaway for coaching my team this series, and we're just coming back better this time. The 3-0 last week was very disappointing to me, so I'm going to prove Eagle Bear wrong in the midseason.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much. We'll go let you enjoy the rest of your night and celebrate this victory with your team again. Thank you, man.
All right. See you later.
All right. That was Desero there from Cogent Endangered. And Twin, I mean, this was a great series for them here, and we did talk about a little bit of a struggle for the other side of Emerald Eagles, but we touched on it a lot throughout the night. This is a team that is definitely looking to improve throughout this season, and I think there's a lot of stuff they can take away from this game.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff they can take from it, and especially again at this tier, you don't need to run meta. I think them running the Juno actually, it looked pretty decent. The Juno mechanics, it made us be getting used to, the timing of how they want to use some of those abilities with the rest of the team. But it is a team that, hey, I don't think they're just going to have this game happen every single time this season. I do think they're going to have their time to shine. It was just, it was a very rough game tonight. And there's no other way around it here for the Emerald Eagles. It was rough. But I do think it was more Cogent being as, as he said, as pissed off as they were at last week's result. They wanted to show out tonight. I think that was, it more than anything else.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember watching this Cogent team a little bit last season in CGL. They were always at the top of everything. It seemed like they were the team that no one could beat at all. And when someone finally beat them, you see how they respond here. So that game with SCAD B Sports, like we said, and like DeCero said, that's going to be one that should be really, really fun next week to watch. It's going to decide a lot for that midseason tournament.
It's going to affect a lot for the midseason tournament, especially, that top three, man. I think it's going to be real close between all three of those teams. So especially that next game, it's either SCAD really get into a pretty good position, basically lock in top two, or all of a sudden we get a little bit silly up there in that top three. We could see some really fun situations come out if that happens. So I'm really excited. I'm not sure that game will be streamed or not, but I'm hoping, man, that would be an excellent match.
Hey, if they schedule a time for it at some point during the week, I imagine it will be streamed. It should be one of those ones that everyone kind of tunes in for because of how good those two teams are, especially heading into our final week before the midseason tournament. But, I mean, Twin, we talked about it here a little bit. Any final words on this series before we throw it back over to the desk?
I will just say this. I'm sad that Obama's perfect game was ruined. I'm a little sad at that, but I will say this. Hey, Cogent, keep pushing. You guys, we can see, hey, how one loss infuriated you. I want to see this every single week from them now, right? Like, there is no reason to step back, have kind of what that map 3 stumbled into, a little bit of chaos. I want to see them, hey, continue pushing it every single week because they really could be, winning it just again this year for the Diamonds here.
Yeah, I have to agree with that right there. If you're Cogent, I think you go into every week just remembering how it felt to lose, and you never want to do that again. Hell, imagine that you lost this series going into next week, and you're going to have a hell of a time against SCAD B Sports. But that will do it for us here in the casting booth. We're going to throw it back over to Ray, Spectrion, Joker, and Headrammer to wrap up this great Saturday night of Overwatch. So, again, thank you from myself and Twin Salty, but we're going to throw it back over to the desk to wrap up the night.
All right, thank you so much, Dex and Twin Salty. That was the series between Cogent Endangered and Emerald Eagles. That was quite a series we had on our hands. I'm just going to start with you, Headrammer. Just your overall thoughts and, your general ideas and how that series played out.
It was definitely kind of a little bit of a return to glory from Cogent there. We talked about how, they lost the series in a decently dominant fashion not too long ago. And to come back and do a similar thing that was done to them to another team now, I mean, it kind of signifies, you know what? No, we're still here. We haven't dropped it. We're as good a team as we've always been. You can't underestimate us.
Yeah, I mean, Joker, go ahead, piggyback off that, man.
Yeah, I was almost right with my prediction there. They almost threw the Clash map for content, but in the end, Cogent looked as good as they should have. And I feel for Emerald Eagles. They stuck with it the entire time. They didn't give up, which is a really good thing to see moving forward.
Spectrion, anything else to add to all this?
I like to think of it as the pendulum returning back to the middle point. Normally we get 3-0 on SNO. I think the universe has just cursed it. We had a really close game in EU, so it has to be as one-sided as possible. Just return everything to normality. That's my personal theory.
It is to a point, but I still think as we enter this, and especially once we start doing like SNO broadcasts during the midseason playoffs, so when we start getting the finals for that, we're going to get extremely close matchups. But just looking at that, it just felt like the experience and, as Joker mentioned, just the amount of winning that this team, Cogent Endangered, has done in many different tournaments was coming through strong for them. And it was really hard for, especially with the Eagles not having their tank at the beginning, it felt like they were forced to play a certain way, and it just didn't go well for them because of that. And I mean, as you mentioned, there were some, okay aspects on the Clash map. And I think if you could just take a look at that and build a little bit from there, maybe narrow down your compositions a little bit better. It doesn't have to be meta, but just find something you feel confident and comfortable in. They can come back and get some W's.
Especially because, there's the age-old setting. You learn a lot more by losing than you do from winning. And I think you take things out of this. They were showing signs of life. They were getting back up through the Clash series that you mentioned, and it shows that no matter what, they will keep going. And that is something itself that you really can't teach in the game. A lot of Overwatch, beyond just the skill of grouping up, executing your plans, and clicking heads, is yourself versus your own mental. And it showed during the series that despite them being under a lot of pressure throughout of it, they still had the ability to come back in the series and give them a little pressure. Obviously, there was a little bit of tomfoolery from Cogent's end on that side, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Emerald was still able to take some momentum away from them and push back, even in a series they were down 0-2.
Couldn't agree with you more. With that, let's go ahead and talk about our MVP for the series, and that is going to be Zeus. I'll start out with you, Joker. How was Zeus's performance today on that Tracer?
I mean, obviously they were filling up the kill feed. They were making things different. They said it in the Twitch chat, or not Twitch chat, the game chat themselves, Tracer diff. I mean, Zeus was just everywhere where Cogent needed them to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Spectrum, did you have any moments that you just remember back to for Zeus's performance?
Not off the top of my head, to be honest, but I will say that with Tracer in kind of this kind of tier of play, Diamond is where she starts really taking off, so it's where you can really use that incredible skill ceiling of the character to just assert your will in the lobby. It's exactly what we saw from Zeus. Just it felt like the mechanics was a tier above everybody else, and that's why we saw the impact that we did.
Yeah, I think Zeus was playing very well on that Tracer and being a nice distraction and just going after that backline constantly. Headrummer, any thoughts on Zeus' performance?
Everyone here really covered a lot of it. We saw a little bit of flexing the Torm, a little bit of funkiness on Clash there towards the end, trying to go for a little bit of hammer kills. Maybe a little BME, but it shows a little bit of the confidence the team has to be able to flex around those roles and still clutch out on those series. And I think that's it's a strong candidate for MVP there.
Couldn't agree more. With that, let's go ahead and just remind you guys how our SNO broadcast played out today, starting with that EU banger we had. Semper TEC getting that big 3-2 victory over Varia. A lot of us on the desk were absolutely wrong about that. Only Megalass and Geo's Dice got that one correct. And then tonight, obviously, we had Cogent getting the 3-0 on Emerald Eagles. A lot of us predicted this 3-0, but everyone got the pred right. So the desk redeemed itself tonight. So that's got to be feeling pretty good about that. And as a reminder, SNO, we're getting ready to close out this. We will be live back again next week for EU and NA. Similar times, it'll be roughly around 1:30 Eastern-ish for the desk to start for the EU. And then same things around 7:30, 8, 9, somewhere around there on the desk, depending on what game we pull for NA. So make sure to tune in for that. And before we close things out, I'm going to turn over to Headrammer because we got a big event that is happening. It started today and it's going to conclude tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. We have our Kunoichi Cosmos tournament running for marginalized vendors this weekend. It started today with a round robin stage for both our open and our rising tiers. Tomorrow we will conclude with our bracket, double elim for both of them, and we'll crown our victor for it across NA. Again, I'm expecting some amazing matchups throughout the series. It'll be starting at 4 p.m. EST tomorrow on the Kunoichi CGL channel, as well as actually this channel as well. We will be having the open tier on Kunoichi CGL, and the Rising tier will have its own dedicated playoff stream on CGL 1. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. I'm expecting some amazing matchups.
Yeah. Very awesome. Very great event. I didn't know we were doing a separate stream on CGL1, so that is absolutely fantastic. So make sure to check in on both of those. But before we close things out, just going to go around the table one more time and just get everyone's final thoughts, shout outs, anything you want to say just about how things have gone in just week 3 or maybe the season in general. We'll start with you, Joker.
Just follow the Twitch channel to make sure to watch tomorrow's Kunoichi Cosmos event, and then watch the other streams that we're going to be having coming forward. Mid-season playoffs is coming up in 2 weeks, and you're going to have to watch that as well. So make sure to follow the Twitch channel, and then also follow me on Twitter. I want more followers.
What's your Twitter, Joker?
Joker's Ransom.
Yeah, make sure you follow that, man. Make sure you follow all of us on our respective Twitters. Would be very appreciated. And making sure you always have those notifications to find us a stream. Earn those CGL tokens, folks. Spectron, the floor is yours.
All I'm going to say is that with Energy Shock losing to Fluffy Dreamers, it's now proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that NA is a Mickey Mouse region, and that we should all pay attention to the glorious EMEA region, where we have brilliant bangers like we saw earlier on SNO. Pay attention to the desk next time, because it will be another 3-2. Mark my words.
I'm gonna have to hold you to that. I'll be on the desk next week, so I'm gonna remind you of that for sure. Once we get a 3-0, I'll be coming to you.
I'm gonna gaslight the hell out of you. I can't lie.
Just try to gaslight me. All right, Head Rubber, floor is yours, man.
Well, due to the impending lawsuit against the Saturday Night Overwatch staff members, you may never be seeing these people again. So we'll have to see in the future if they ever make their name known in the community again. But on a more serious note, I'm going to echo a lot what Joker said. Keep an eye out for a lot of our streams. We have so many games we're going to be streaming. We have Kunoichi tomorrow, and I think maybe even a little bit of CGL tomorrow. We have games Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all next week for CGL week 4, and there's going to be some hype games the next week as we lead into that mid-season tournament. Kind of give us a bit of a preview of what we're going to be seeing throughout it. If you want to play in events like this, join our Discord, discord.gg/console Overwatch. It might say console Overwatch in the name, but we do offer PC and console support for teams of all regions. By all regions, I mean NA and EU. But if you want to play in it and you're not in NAU, feel free. The ping might just be a little bit rough.
Can we announce what we're doing yet with people, or is that not happening yet?
I don't know what people think you're talking about, so no.
Okay.
He's talking about SA, but yeah.
Yeah, the South America.
Oh no, we announced it. Yeah, we're looking to bring South America in for next year. So keep an eye out for that in 2025. Probably CGL season 15. I almost forgot how many seasons we've been into now.
Jeepers, yeah, because you're getting old there, buddy.
Back in my day, we didn't have seasons.
Back in my day, it was called multi-tier tournaments.
I mean, it's still multi-tier tournament. It's still in the name of the tournament. It's just easier to say season. All right, Ray, tell me, what do you have up?
I mean, for me, I'm just looking at this, how competitive that EU match was. It's just making me that much more hyped going forward. I think continue to watch, because as we mentioned, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we do regular season. And with us coming into week 4, a lot of these matches are going to decide who makes the mid-seasons playoffs for a lot of these regions and a lot of these divisions. So it's going to be very important and very high stakes games. And then just continue to follow, support us. Kunoichi is always great. And as we enter the mid-season playoffs, these games are only going to get better. So just make sure you're tuning in, because it's going to be awesome stuff. So with that, I'd like to thank these amazing gentlemen for being on the desk with me. I'd like to thank the amazing gentlemen who are casting with us, Twin Salty and Dexatron, and then everyone who is working behind the scenes. Of course, we got the man, Hippie, and then our amazing observers, Orange, as well as Cry, and I believe Blizzard was in the mix this time as well. So very happy. They are the reason why We look so great, and all those games look so great. So big shout outs to them. And thank all of you guys for tuning in, collecting those CGL tokens, and watching some amazing Overwatch. And we bid you adieu until next week for our presentation of SNO. Make sure to be there. We'll see you next time.